Well, if you read the title of the video, I've got a pretty good idea why you're here. It's for this cheap-ass trim. And it's pretty friggin' easy. I mean, before I decided I wanted to do this, I was pretty intimidated, going through all the forums on the internet. Found this one forum on XH2O that's like 18 pages long, and I think it took me twice as long to read through that forum as it did to actually gather the parts and put this thing together. Now, this is a 2010 SuperJet, so it already came from the factory with a trim ring and nozzle similar to a Wave Raider. And all you have to do is take off the static trim adjustment, put on your own makeshift bracket with a cable stop, run your cable, get yourself a brake lever from a bike shop, hook it all up, and you're good to go. So I guess the costs. The brake lever, they can be as expensive as you want them to be. I got this one for free at a bike shop out of a used bin because I'm not sure how well this is going to work. Also, this is a stock power SuperJet. Literally the only reason I put trim on it is because I knew it was going to be extremely cheap, and why the hell not? I have no plans of doing backflips on this thing. Okay, so the brake lever was free. The cable itself was $8.50. I got it from the bike shop. It's the longest cable they sell at 3.5 meters, so about 11.5 feet, which is exactly long enough. If it was 11 feet, I don't think it would fit. At 11.5 feet, it gives you, well, I'll show you after, but about 2 inches of extra. And I just got 12 feet of bulk sheathing. My bike store sells it at like $4 a foot, but the nice guy only charged me for 3 feet. So that was pretty cool. Alright, step one. Take off the chin pad. Run your brake cable down the pole. I kind of just jammed it through the same hole that the steering cable goes through. If you spray anything rubber with silicone spray, it helps a lot with pulling anything through. And that doesn't just count towards this. That's if you're working on your car and you're trying to get a plug back in, trying to get a hose back on, spray it with silicone spray. Helps a lot. Anyhow, I ran it through here, along here, zip tie, goes down that way. Grab a light. Now, I didn't want to remove the siphon bilge that comes factory on these things. I find it does a pretty decent job at just keeping it dry. I don't have an electric bilge on this. I've got a scooper valve and the siphon bilge, and those two combined keep this thing pretty dry. So what I did, I just poked a hole in it because my brake line, I don't know if you can see that right there. The brake line is quite a bit smaller than the siphon line itself. So I'm hoping that it will still work somewhat. Also, I don't have to worry about making that hole watertight again. Coming around back. And that's my bracket. Hopefully you can see. And right there, that that is where this used to live. This would go something like that. So if you haven't already noticed, this is the factory hole, I drilled this hole below it just to get a better pull. And yes, I know this thing keeps popping out. I may put a return spring on this simply for when the ski is out of the water, because it's kind of a pain in the butt right now. If you have any suggestions, please let me know. When it's in the water, I don't see it being a problem, but out of the water, people walking by, they grab the trim lever, want to know what it is, and then it kind of buggers up my cable. And then for the cable, I just have it pinched on this side and pinched on that side, and hopefully that'll do the trick. That's about it, folks. Pretty simple. Took me about an hour, but that's just because I had to monkey around in the back. But if you get it first try, it's a very quick process. Running the cable, super quick, especially because I left that bilge line in place. Didn't have to worry about siliconing it or cutting a new, putting a new line pipe down the hole. Like the expensive trim kits there, they want you to run another tube. Very quick and easy, and the best part about it is it's non-intrusive. If I want to get rid of this trim setup, I just pull the line out, put a little bit of silicone on that siphon bilge, and I'm done. You would never know. Alright, that's about it. If you have a 2008 or a newer SuperJet, that's what this is. Super, super easy and cheap. You don't have to worry about buying a trim ring, nozzle. If you have an earlier model, then you're going to need to get the nozzle and the trim ring, unfortunately. Kind of racks the price up a little bit. If that's what I was dealing with, I don't know if I would have done it. I don't know if the gains are going to would be worth the few $100s that you'd have to spend on those extra parts. But since this already came with it, I think I'm about $30 in parts as it sits. Maybe another couple bucks for a return spring. So why not? I'll give it a go. I spend more than that in fuel in a weekend. Oh